Hi, my name is Morgan Kroger. I am the Academic Relations Co-Chair for the IIA Phoenix chapter, and joining me today is Athena DeBel Garcia.
Hi, I'm Athena DeBel Garcia, and I'm the co-chair of the Academic Relations Committee for the Phoenix chapter. And today with us, we are interviewing Susie, who is a fairly new auditor. Susie?
Hi everyone, my name is Susie. I work for the City of Phoenix. I am an associate auditor and I've been with the city for a little over a year now.
Great, thanks, Susie. So we'll get started by asking, what was your experience prior to starting in your auditing position?
Yeah, so prior to starting here, I worked for a nonprofit that provides services in the human services field. I was doing quality assurance work, so evaluating the programs that we had in place, trying to implement policies and procedures, and efforts for continuous quality improvement.
So great segue into auditing, to be
Pretty
perfectly
much, yeah.
honest, right?
Yeah, it's
you are meant to be an auditor.
yeah, it's everything that we should be audited on. So I'm essentially auditing the work that I was doing.
Awesome, that's great.
Yeah.
So what drew you to switch into the internal audit field?
Well, I didn't go to school for auditing at all, and it wasn't something that I ever imagined that I wanted to be when I was a kid. But working in the nonprofit world and doing quality assurance, doing that organizational management aspect for, the workplace, I felt like there's a component missing where I didn't have that global structure of like, how do I address the problems at this organization? How do we work towards improving in like a structured way? So I felt like auditing kind of was the answer for me. So it's kind of related in a way.
It is. That's awesome, actually. Yeah. That's a really neat reason to go into it, because to see the big picture and to be able to make recommendations in solving those issues. So that's awesome. What do you do at work on a daily basis? Can you go over some of the things that you do that would probably happen for most auditors, I'm guessing?
Yeah, most days it's reviewing documentation, looking at data that are, since I work at the city, we audit all the other departments within the city. So just all the data that is provided to us, constant communication back and forth between our department and the auditee, just making sure that we have all of the information we need to be able to make our conclusions and recommendations. So a lot of just tedious reviewing documentation. So it's not the most exciting, but at the same time, it's you have to be detailed to know what to do. So yeah, day to day is reviewing documentation.
Awesome.
I love that. So with it being so tedious, what's your favorite part about the job? What makes you stay?
So I feel like one of the most interesting things about our job is because we're at such a large city, we get to audit all the different departments. So it's really learning about what is going on that really helps our city run. So it could be looking at procedures at the fire department, looking at contracts of how different chemicals are used to treat our water. It always varies. So I feel like it just keeps me engaged because you're constantly learning new things about the city. Yeah.
Awesome. So describe your experience as a new auditor. How long do you think it took you to kind of get it or feel comfortable? And it's okay if you still don't, because there are days that I don't. Do you ever struggle with understanding some of the concepts that are kind of brought to you? And how do you handle those?
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm still trying to figure out what's what here. Yeah, I felt like definitely in the first few months, I was still asking a million questions. So, it's been helpful to have other experienced auditors around to answer all those questions. But I felt like I didn't like truly get it until maybe, and I'm still trying to figure stuff out, but like probably until a year. So just now I'm barely starting to get it, learning the ins and outs of all the different departments, how they, just how it's mainly learning about how the organization operates before I can even like dive into the actual work. Yeah, yesterday I was just asking my supervisor what a certain term meant, and I had no idea. I'm like, I know what this word means in general, but what does it mean in terms of like finances, like reconciliation practices? So yeah, I mean, and some people even that I've worked with, they say that they are still trying to figure out how certain things work around the city. So I don't know if you can ever fully get it, but yeah, I'm still learning along the way.
Yeah.
We definitely all feel like that.
Yes, yes.
A lifelong learning.
It is a lifelong learning experience. So that's great that you still, you're like, yes, I am comfortable, but I'm still learning. So yeah, that's the important thing to remember, that internal audit is a lifelong learning, because whether you're operating auditing new business units or different departments that you haven't done before, it's always going to be a learning experience. And even the ones you have done before, you audit something different within them. So awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so what has been more valuable to you in your career, your education or your experience?
Definitely my experience. I mean, given that I had a background in quality assurance and just worked in the organizational management aspect of my prior workplace, I feel like that definitely gave me some kind of insight into what auditing would entail. I went to school for psychology, so it's not the most relevant to auditing. I mean, you can kind of look at it as, you kind of understand the human behavior aspect of it, people's motives and just that element. But in terms of like the actual day-to-day work, my education probably isn't the most helpful. But yeah, so experience definitely.
Okay. So what advice do you have for someone looking to get into the auditing profession? So what advice do you have for someone looking to get into the auditing profession?
So for advice, I know for me, I didn't realize how much independent work it would be. So just knowing what you're getting into, that it would be a lot of solo work, and always know like when to ask questions. So for me, because you're constantly working by yourself, if there isn't anything that or not that there isn't anything, but if you have any questions, just make sure that you always bring them up, because you could go without answers for a while, and then come the end of your project, like, oh, I didn't bother to ask that question. So yeah, just knowing when to ask questions. Also just knowing that, you're human, the people you're auditing are human also. I feel like there's this perception out there that auditors are cold, very serious, they're trying to look for something wrong, and we're all just human. It helps to bring a sense of humor and compassion to the job when you're interacting with your auditees, and yeah, just keeping that human element there.
Awesome. That's great advice. That really is.
I love that. And there really are no such things as stupid questions, because if you're not asking it, someone else has that same question.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So if you were to redo your career path, would you choose this path again?
I'm not sure. When I saw that question, I wasn't sure whether or not, like, would I go back to school for accounting or any other type of relevant field, or would I stick with psychology? I really love understanding human behavior, so I feel like I would stick to the path that I chose. And in the end, you all get to the same place anyway. So whether I'd done anything differently or just stuck with where I am, it's all the same.
See, I love that. I love that you are confident in that your experience has made you who you are, and having that psychology background actually helps you to audit better and to calm nerves of people who are being audited. So that's really cool.
That sounds like it does. That for only being a year in, I mean, you did have quality assurance, but for only being a year in, you sure understand the dynamics from the auditor-auditee relationship, and you said it perfectly, that you have to be able to kind of comfort them so that they're not freaking out thinking you're coming out to get them, which is part of building that relationship between the auditor and the auditee. So yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. That was an amazing interview, Susie. It really was. We could not have asked for a better set of answers to anything. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad I could help out. Thanks for sending the questions in advance.
Oh, of course. We don't like to put people on the spot. So thank you so much again for taking the time to speak with us today. And that'll be a wrap for the academics relations team at the IIA. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great day.
Bye, you too.